All right, beautiful people. We are here in the Hey You Human community live for day 2. Oh, my hair of Truth About Sex and Power. So I will give it a second for everyone to hop on and say hello, and then we'll get going. We will get going. So as you are hopping on, make sure to say hello. Yay, I'm starting to see you guys pop on. It's always weird. I don't know if you guys ever do Facebook Lives, but there's a lag. And so it's always funny when you first get on because you're just like, okay, nobody's here yet, but hi, I'm here. So hello, Janie and Tasha and Claudia and Mandy. Hello, beautiful humans and Melissa. Hello, Jody, I just saw you for our weekly wake up. All right, guys, so I am excited to be back here. Excited to be back here talking more about this. I know, right, Melissa? Anyone out there? Anyone? So feel free to let me know where you're from. I always love to know where you guys are from and who we're hanging out with. If you have any comments about yesterday, you know, so many good messages about people just having amazing aha moments about like, oh my God, this relates to this. And like a lot of comments around the whole my body's not my own kind of thing, like just whoa, like wow, this is really making a lot of sense. And it does. It makes a lot of sense when you really start thinking about the systematic ways in which we as women are really kept from ourselves so that we aren't really able to own our power and do the things we want in this world, which just stinks, you guys. Like, and I'm gonna get personal here in a second because I want to share a really personal story with you guys. Just kind of my journey with my power and how easily it is to slip back out of it and how easily it is to be, I don't want to use the word manipulated, but kind of like it almost is like a manipulation and a coercion in a way just because of the way our world works. And it's so subtle and you don't even know it's happening, but it really keeps you from living the life you want to live. Like, it really does, you guys. Like, when you live in your power, when you fully live in your power, and it's almost like, you know, there's a reason why we used to call our main program Unstoppable You, because you really become unstoppable. You really become, and like, even when hiccups happen in your life, and you know, I've had people when I've had hiccups say things to me like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, aren't you nervous? Aren't you scared? And I'm like, no, because like, I know my power and I know that I get to decide, that I get to create this life, that if this is happening, it's happening because I have some trauma, I have some belief, I have something inside of me that obviously needs to be processed and dealt with. And then once I do that, like, we'll be on to where we need to go, right? Like, I really, really believe without a doubt that I am in charge here. And when you live in your power and you understand that, like, you really are in a way invincible. I mean, you really are invincible. Honestly, as long as you're not playing too much with the other world, right? Like, that's where it gets you. That's where it gets you. And you see this, guys, like, you see this, like, I want you to just think of like people who are really rich in a way, people who have a lot of money, who really just believe they get to have what they want. I mean, we even watch people who do terrible things in this world that have money and power and they walk away with not like a scratch on them. And part of that is because they really live in this understanding and this belief of like, nothing stops me, nothing touches me. I move through everything. I get everything I want. I get it to happen how I want to happen. And if it's not happening in that way, then there's just something you need to work on. You need to learn. There's this catastrophe or whatever showing up for you to understand this world differently, for you to evolve differently. And so you see this happen. And those of us who aren't in our power often get really mad. We get really mad when we see stuff like this happen in this world. And I think as women, because I know most of you guys are women on here, I think as women, we often get really mad. We look at people doing crap things in this world and it makes us so mad. Well, why do they get? And we're mad, not necessarily at what they're doing, because yes, that is annoying. There's a lot of injustices in this world that we just need to be done with. But what really is at the core of that anger is the fact that they are just doing whatever they want. They are just out there doing whatever they want, not really giving a shit, just making their life, making it happen. And we're over here, not. And it fuels frustration, it fuels all sorts of stuff. And we got to work through those emotions. That's the way back to our power. That's what we teach in our membership. That's what we're going to do on this beautiful retreat I'm going to talk about in a second here. These will run our shows. These will keep us stuck until we fully allow ourselves to fully process, evolve, and understand them. And then and only then can we finally start growing past them and creating something different. And it's not always the easiest thing, and it's not always the easiest thing to do alone. And this is really why we've created Hey You Human, and the membership and the space that we've created. Because we live in a world that's going to tell us over and over again, doesn't get to happen for us. Doesn't get to be how we want it to be. Nope. There's so much subtle systematic stuff that happens that we need to be in a space that tells us differently over and over again, constantly. And that's what we created. I kind of was like, what would I have needed to make this easier? What do I need now? It's like our own little world over there in our membership. And I'll talk about that in a bit. Because it is hard. And, and I'm going to tell you a story of my life and my playing with power. But, I played with my power for a long time. And really in 2019, I kind of found it. I really kind of just stepped in to who I was, who I wanted to be. I just stopped. I don't want to say like giving a fuck. Like it's not that energy. It's not like I don't give a fuck about anybody. It was more just like I was no longer concerned with people not liking me, people not understanding me, people not getting me, people not supporting me, people not believing in me. It wasn't like fuck them. Like I still loved them. I still appreciated them in my life. It just, I no longer cared. Like I was like, look, I love you. I want you to be a part of my life. If you don't believe in me, fine, don't believe in me. But furthermore, don't stop me. Don't stop me. And if you're going to stop me, and if you're going to keep me down, you're likely going to have to go. It's not going to work. But we can make this, we can all live together. It's fine. And as I started to really take on this persona, things really rapidly started to change. And it's a big step to do this. Like, this is where you start taking really bold moves in your life. You start doing things, and it's one thing, like a lot of times in the entrepreneur space, the online entrepreneur space especially, I look at a lot of the successful women in it. And this is not for sure, like to say yes, all of them, but a lot of them really built their businesses when they were single without kids. And that's different. When you're just you, when you have nobody to answer to, nobody to say anything to, it's a lot easier. But I built my business as a married woman with 2 children. And so it was very different because I had these other people. I had these other people in my life, and especially I had a spouse. I had a very traditional spouse in my life. And when we married, I was very traditional in a sense. Like I was a different person. My life was very much him. I very much bought into the idea that as a woman, I kind of become what, I don't want to say become what the man wants you to be, but let's be real, women. A lot of us, we do that, right? We're kind of programmed in a way to be a certain person for these people. And And it's interesting in a thing like, okay, so now I just go off and do what I want and now you have to sacrifice, or you just get to do what you want and I have to sacrifice. Marriage has looked that way for a really long time. Partnership has looked that way for a really long time. And so, yeah, there's a subtle shift once you're a wife. Like it happens over time. It's really, really interesting. It's a very deep programming and coding, and the same thing that happens when you're a mom. It's this deep. So anyways, 2019 hit and I'm like, I'm done. I'm stepping up, I'm stepping out. And a lot of this occurred because I had been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. I had been doing a lot of the work I teach with, pulling out these emotions, really looking at our limits, really getting them out and all the emotions behind them and creating the new story. I had been doing the work that I teach in Hey You Human, the work that all of our courses really center on. I had been doing this work and it had finally allowed me to say, I'm here, y'all. I'm here. And so things started to really rapidly progress. And it was just like opportunities were coming to me. And really what I learned during this time, and learned again as I had to do the work again, which I'll get to, is that when you are in your power, like when you are fully in your power, being fully you, like life is just easy. Like it really, really is, guys. When you are operating as you, it is just like the opportunities are there, the money shows up. And I've seen this over and over and over again with the people in our community, is people really start to really come more into themselves. They're like, wow, like life just gets a lot easier. Like things just feel better. Like, wow. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And so I was really in this space and I was just, things were going really great. And then 2020 hit and the business is just exploding. And, my marriage is doing great. With my kids are doing great. And keep in mind, 2020 is a time that was like really insane for a lot of businesses and a lot of people. And like, I'm just over here like thriving and, we're hitting amazing milestones. The business is growing, our audience is growing, our clients are just like having amazingness occur. Like we've just created this whole world that just was incredible. It was just incredible. And I was just on a trajectory like this and it felt so good. And then in November, I was in San Antonio. I was doing a photo shoot and my husband was back at home. We were in the middle of a renovation. His company, his business was really hit hard during COVID. And so there was a lot of, stress there. He was at home with kids. The renovation literally almost killed the man. We're very different in how we handle life. And I'm off to go do this photo shoot and just have this blast time. And this was really a time where I really was just doing what I wanted to do. And I was making sure kids were taken care of and things were working. It wasn't anything like this. And so on the second day, maybe third day I'm gone, I get a text message from him that is just horrendous. I mean, it is just like, I am so sick of this. You are selfish. I won't even go into all the details of it, but it was a lot. And my husband, like many men in this world, at that point still had a lot of work to do on his emotions. Men often live in this dichotomy that it's not okay to have emotions. They have to be even keel. They have to hold down the fort. They have to hold everything in, and they often hold everything in, and then it comes out in this ugly, terrible way, right? Like just meh. And that's what happened. He had been, and this is what happens to people when anybody, man or woman, or anything in between, that's what happens when we hold everything in. Smile! Everything's gonna work out! Everything's good! But there's all this stuff that's really getting to us. eventually we can only hold so much, you guys. We can only hold so much. I always say when you're on the road and you just like casually move past somebody and then all of a sudden they like zoom by you and flick you off and they're like, I'm like, well, that person's had too much. Too much today. Like, it gets ugly. It gets ugly. I wonder why some of you guys can't see the live stream. I don't know. I would just say if you can't see it, maybe come check back in a little bit. Maybe it'll be here. I'm not sure. But it can get ugly, and that's what happened. It got ugly. It got really, really, really ugly, and he said a lot of things, and it really hit me. It hit me hard. It hit me hard. And I came home a day later, and of course he was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Like, I can't believe I said all those things to you, da 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 da, like, I can't believe it. I can't believe I said all those things to you. I'm sorry. I was just frustrated about things. I blah, 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 blah. And I appreciated that. But something happened. Something happened. And it took me almost a year. It took me almost a year to figure out that it was in that moment with those words that I slowly started to calibrate back down. I love him. I loved him then, I love him now. Something inside me was like, oh God, what if I keep being this person and I lose this person, right? We're always so scared that we're gonna lose people in our lives when we're fully ourselves, when we're fully in our power. And really, we won't lose the people that are meant to be there. We won't lose the people that are meant to come along with us. But everything in me was scared of that because that's kind of what we're taught. We're taught that if we're not nice, if we don't play by other people's rules, if we don't conform to what other people want us to be, they won't like us. And as women, we're taught that more than any other people in this world. We're taught we're all supposed to look a certain way and be a certain way. And if you're not a certain way, you're less likable and you're less valued. And so that snuck in. It snuck in. And little by little, I started questioning myself more. And little by little, I started, okay, well, maybe I won't do that because I don't want to rock the boat. And maybe I won't say that because I don't want to rock the boat. And that's when we know. People often ask me, how do you know when you're in your power? How do you know? And it's funny because I look back now and this is such a huge healing moment for me. Like, I'm able to see it. I'm able to move through it and process that even more so that my husband and I can grow together. We can go to the next level. But it pushed me a little bit out of my power for a while. And what did I watch happen? I watched my business dip. I watched my money dip. I watched it all change right before my eyes. And I kept being like, what the hell is going on? And I kept thinking, maybe it's just a fluke. Maybe the shit I teach is just a fluke. Maybe it's just a fluke. Maybe none of it even worked. It hit me hard. It was amazing to me looking back, and I had a few other people in my life too, that it was very subtle. People who were very close to me. It meant a lot to me. That just had very subtle things where they were questioning me or and it just added up, and I slowly started to question myself, my power, my ability, my work, everything. And I share this with you guys to really help you see how easy and quick it can happen. How easy and quick it can happen. This wasn't like I had every single person in my life being like, shut up and sit down. Or I was in this, house of just abusive people just like beating me in and day out. I was already a powerful ass person with a powerful ass business, surrounded by powerful people. a couple key people in my life, people who I trusted, people who I respected, people who I looked to, were able to just trigger these little things in me. These little things in me. And so it was a great learning experience for me because I was really able to understand how to know when I'm in my power and when I'm not in my power. And one of the things really is I pay attention to when I'm not being myself, when I'm not saying the thing I want to say. You know, I remember like a couple months ago, and this is when I was kind of starting to realize it. Like I said, it took me like literally a year to start realizing this. And I remember, this was probably 6 or 7 months ago, I don't even remember, when I was in like the process of like unraveling all of this. And I remember having this moment where I was taking my son to like a practice of some sort, and I was so scared that he was gonna be late because my husband was gonna be mad at me. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, what the fuck? And like, here's the thing, like my husband's not even gonna be mad about that. This was like me. A lot of times, guys, it's not even the person. It's not even actually the person. It actually ends up being your internal thoughts, your internal beliefs that you're projecting on them. That you're projecting on them. Sometimes they are, like the time my husband gave me the text message that was all in, like he was projecting his bullshit on me and it affected me. But this was one of those moments and I stopped and I remember thinking like, wait a second here. This isn't me being in my power. I'm a grown ass, sovereign fucking adult. Why should I be scared? Like, what am I kidding? I'm gonna get in trouble? What the hell? And I started noticing little moments like this, right? Where I wasn't doing things, or I was asking for permission versus having an empowered conversation. Can I do this versus what do you think? I want to do this. What are your thoughts on it? We are so programmed from the minute we hit this earth to operate as subservient children. Right? I want you to even think of yourself growing up as a child, and I want you to think of parents saying things to you like, because I said so. That's fucking bullshit. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't care if your kid's an hour old or 45 years old. No human should ever say to another human, they need to do something because I told you so. And quite honestly, in my house, my kids are allowed to call me out on that shit. They're allowed to be like, Mom, that is not a valid reason. What's going on with you? Because usually when we're in a space of just wanting to say, because I told you so, it's actually because we are feeling powerless. We are living our life powerless. And now we feel like even our kids have power over us. And now we're real pissed. And likely that's how many of you were raised. You were raised in environments where you had parents that felt powerless in a lot of ways. But they could feel powerful when it came to their kids. They finally were able to say, no, you listen to me. I'm in charge. I rule the house. And that felt good. Because at the end of the day, you guys, we are insanely powerful humans. We create all of this. We do. The divine power lives in us. We literally are created from the divine power, and we create all that exists. We are one in the same. You know, it's really interesting because I feel like when you look at Christianity, which Christianity is very different from early Christianity and what Jesus actually taught, but I feel like so much of what we see as Christianity now is what rules kind of how we relate to things, right? Like we are separate from God, and we have to go through Jesus and pray to this God. If you look at a lot of religions are like this, right? It's you are this minion little human and you must pray to the big almighty thing that helps you. If you look at Buddhism, if you look at the actual teachings of some of these prophets that our religions are actually based off of, a lot of what the actual prophet said is not actually what the religion turned into. Many times the religion actually turns into an oppressive, suppressive type environment for the leaders to keep people down. And if you go back to really early Christian teachings, a lot of the books that have been removed from the Bible, there are literally passages that say things like this: I am God. God is me. God is you. We are all God. We are all God. I am God. You are God. God is God. We are all the divine essence. We are all, that is our power, you guys. And I want you to really hear me and feel me when I say this. And I know for some people, you hit a wall. It's hard to hear that. All the old teachings come up. All the stuff comes up around this. Because this world wants to keep you oppressed. It wants to keep you from that knowledge. Why? Because, I don't know, there's like 1,000 people probably that run the world. Maybe less, quite honestly. And there's like 8 billion plus of us. And if we start figuring this out, if we start understanding our true innate power, they ain't got no chance. And furthermore, the people in power believe in lack. They believe there's enough for them because they vacuum it up from the rest of us. And so if everybody were to know about the power of this world, of the power of our ability to create whatever we wanted, whenever we wanted, and have whatever we want, there would not be enough to go around. And we'd have to take from them to get what we want. And really, that's how we've played out our world over and over again, right? That's usually what happens. You can go back in time and history and look at where, okay, all the little minion people get mad enough and they overthrow the rich people and they take everything from them. And there's this transference of wealth. And so it just reiterates the story that, oh, if you're on top, you better do something to keep everybody below you so they don't take from you. And we see it in everywhere. It's one of the big reasons I left the coaching industry. Because I literally I worked with some of the biggest name coaches, and not all of them, but a lot of them. And when you get close to them, you feel it. Do not pass me up. You do not get to get bigger than me. Which is bullshit. We all rise. We all rise. And a lot of people say that, but they don't mean it. They mean like, oh, we all rise as long as you stay like right there and you don't freaking take from me. Julie, I've missed you. I've missed you guys too, right? I was gone for a moment. Maybe not in person, but in power. And I know a lot of our audience felt it. You guys felt it. You felt a change in me. And it was because I started believing a lot of this bullshit. I all of a sudden started to believe like, wait a second, I need to calibrate down. And guys, and this is where I say, when you know your power, life happens. I turned it around like this. Once I got back into my power, it was like, choom, everything changed. Everybody's coming back. Business is going. Things are good. This is how important it is for us to find our power, for us to know our power, for us to believe in our power and the ability for us to create what we want to create. It lives in you. It is you. It's me, it's you, it's every single human on this earth. Nobody has more power or more magic than anyone else. They've just realized it more. They've just embodied it more. They've just believed in it more. They've just removed the crap, the trauma, and the resistance to it more. That's all I've done. And that doesn't mean that you being in your power means you're going to get on Facebook Lives and talk about it and blah, 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 blah. Doesn't mean it at all. It means that you're going to live the life that lights you up. You're going to do the things that happen. And often we can't even see that. We can't even see it. We can't get clear because it's all botched up with all these beliefs that don't match. These beliefs that don't match. And so it's the process of actually having to slough away all the stuff so that we can come back to ourselves. Simple as that. As simple as that. But not so simple, per se. Because we have a lot of bullshit inside of us, you guys. As I talked yesterday about the sex stuff, all sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff. All sorts of stuff. And then we have the stuff around all of this stuff, like I said with my husband, around, being selfish and being this and not being a good wife and not being a good mother because I want to live my life and do what I want to do. You get to have all that you want. And I don't say anymore you get to have it all because I feel like that's not specific enough. When we say you get to have it all, I'm always like, well, I actually don't know if I want it all. I want all the things that I want, but not all. Like all just means all. So I now say like, no, I get to have everything I want. And it gets to be how I want it to be. And we have to go through life challenging our limits. It's really funny. I actually sent a post to, or a comment to one of our team members who does our Instagram. And, you know, Instagram and social media, like people always tell you all the time, like, right, you have to start doing this for your post to work. And you start to have doing this. And like, if you don't do this, it won't work. And sometimes we fall into those traps and we believe it. Instead of just saying, no, it gets to work how we want it to work. It gets to work how I want it to work. And we've been saying over here on our Instagram for a while, like, oh, we need to do more reels because like standalone posts just don't work. And then we kind of were like, no, actually everything we do works. Everything we do works. Every post we put out works. No matter what it looks like, no matter how. And so we had this little quote post that went up and it's one of our best going posts right now, right? Everybody from Instagram will tell you, oh yeah, that never happens. Well, happened to us today. Way more likes and engagements and being pushed than a reel or anything else. We have to challenge the limits that get put in our life because they are just that. They are limits. They aren't truths. They are limits. Period. And a lot of people will ask me sometimes like, well, how do you know the difference between something that's true and something that's a limit? Well, I'll say a limit, if one person does it, then it's a limit. It's not a truth. Now, a truth is something that like, and a truth truly is, that can still be a limit. Like for example, 200 years ago, a truth was that airplanes didn't exist. We can't fly. Okay, well, that was a truth back then, but actually it was a limit. And so really, sometimes you actually have to question, maybe they're all limits, right? Maybe they're all limits. There was a time when there was a fish, and the fish wanted to fly. And so the fish kept flopping out of the water, flopping out of the water, flopping out of the water. I want to breathe out there. I want to live out there. And sure, probably a bunch of the fish died in the evolutionary process. But eventually, the fish became an amphibian. And then the amphibian became a reptile. And then the reptile became a bird, and the bird flew. And so, we have to really look at this and see that this world that we live in is literally a limitless world with limitless potential, with the ability for us to create what we want. We've just been given really outdated and shit programming. And some of this programming, you guys, it worked for us. It's not that it was terrible back when we did it, but now it's not working for us. It's not working for us. There was a time where, yeah, if you stood up and stood out, you might end up dead. But now you can stand up. You can stand out. You're not going to end up dead. Well, I mean, we could all end up dead in different ways, but you know what I'm saying. We live in a different world now. We live in a world where we can do this. We can do this. And it's time for more of us to do this. And one of the biggest things holding back so many of us is this power and this sexual energy. They are one and the same, you guys, down here. They are one and the same. And until we start piecing apart it and pulling it out and clearing it out when it comes to sex, money, and power, we're gonna stay stagnant. We're gonna keep showing up for the free courses, taking in the information, trying to do the things, and we're gonna keep hitting the wall. And so, Hey You Human, we've decided we wanna do a really cool thing. We've never done anything like this before. And if you've been in our world for a while, or you're in our membership, you're probably familiar with our heal series that we do. And it's where we really go, it's like an intensive. It's like, let's get down and dirty, real deep, and get this out so that we can soar a lot faster. And as I look around at the world and as I see all the things that our members go through and people go through and things happen, I am like, how do we do this even better and faster? How do we give people that jump start to like just whoop, get it out so that they can soar? And this is where we came up with doing a virtual retreat. Eventually, we're going to get to doing in-person retreats. They're coming. But we really wanted to start off with a virtual one so that we could really just have people from all over the place. Like I know sometimes with in-person, there's a whole nother dynamic that goes to that, right? We got to travel, we got to do all of that, and we just weren't quite ready for that. We're getting there. We're getting there, you guys. But we're going to do a virtual retreat. A heal virtual retreat. And I freaking can't wait. So it's going to be at the end of April. It's the last weekend of April. Last weekend of April. It's going to kick off Friday evening. There's going to be like a 1-2 hour call to get everything kicked off. And then it's going to run Saturday and Sunday. So I think it's like 9 to 3, Saturday and Sunday. And we're just doing it, guys. We are diving into all the sex, all the money, all the power. We are diving in after years and years of working with people, years and years of research, years and years of watching people go through my stuff and also seeing where we're missing. We're going to hit it all. It's going to be just this like, boom, this vacuum of healing and feeling and rising so that we don't have to spend, years and years and years doing this. Like, I feel like people always say our courses, like when they go through one of our courses, it's like 10 years of therapy. Like that's how I feel like this little weekend is. It's just going to be like, boom, let's go. Let's go. And I'm so excited to do it. If you want to join us, it is, I'm going to mess up these prices, Melissa. I'm like, is it $197 to join and then $297 for the VIP? I think that might be right, but don't quote me until Melissa confirms. I should have written it down. It's $297. Okay, it's $297 and then it's $397 for the, I thought it was $197 and then $297 for the VIP. Anyways, okay, so it's $297 to join us for the weekend, and then it's $99 more if you want the VIP. And the VIP gets you access to all the replays forever. And it was regularly $397 and then we knocked it down a little bit. Yeah, I knew we went lower in price so that more people could join us. And then the VIP also gets you, we're gonna do a couple calls after the event, kind of like circling up questions and stuff like that. It gets you access to these 2 calls after the event to really just, keep going, diving into it. Now, if you are a member in our Happy Human membership, you get it. You get it all because you're our members and we love you. And so if you are wanting to join us and you are not in our membership, you may want to take a look at our membership, because our membership you can get right now until Friday at midnight for $797 for the year if you do pay in full, or you can do it 12 payments of $85. So, and then you get a whole year with us. You get all our live stuff we're going to be launching throughout the year. You get all the stuff that's already in there to start going through. You get the breathwork sessions we do live. You get our live daily doses. You get everything you need to start growing, evolving, and creating your best life. And our membership, and our members can tell you, just gets better and better and better. Like right now, I'm just like surprising all of them with this, saying like, you get it, we're giving it to you, come join us. Like it just gets better and better in there. And you need this space, you guys. Like I love virtual retreats like this. Like I love it. Come do it. But then just like I slipped up, you guys, like I was in my power, I was going, but then a couple people, we can't leave this dominant world, you guys. We can't leave this dominant world. It's here. It's the dominant world we live in. There are going to be wars and there's going to be bullshit and there's going to be even more stuff to come. Get ready. Strap in your seatbelt. It's about to get even bumpier. And the Hey You Human membership was really created because we need somewhere to land. We need somewhere where we can go with our people who believe in pushing the limits, who believe in creating a life better than this, even when it's all kind of falling apart outside. It doesn't have to be that for us who know about this, but we need to be surrounded by people who get it. And we've put all of our stuff in there. You guys, we used to charge thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for each and everything that's in there. And now we put it all in there in the membership because I wanted to make it more accessible. I believe in humanity, I believe in people, but I also don't believe we need to charge $10,000 to help people get to where they want to go in life. We're also giving you, if you join before midnight on Friday, we're giving you the wealth code, our foundational course on money. You're getting that for lifetime access. So even if you do leave the membership after a year, you will always have the wealth code because sometimes we need to go back when it comes to our money stuff. So yes, Alicia, you had to leave for a few months, but I'm glad you're back. I am glad you're back. It really is. I just have, you guys, I've been in the coaching space. I've been in that space for a while. And one of the reasons we really left it and wanted to create something different was because I just didn't believe in the constantly raising your prices, all of that stuff. And I just needed to figure out how I could make something to where like you can come in here and get all the stuff that you need. It keeps getting better and better. You have a community. You're able to ask questions, all of this, and you don't have to spend a freaking life savings to do it. Like, I don't think it should have to be that way. And I'm sure that will always exist and that's fantastic. But this is it, you guys. We have the courses on parenting, on money, on business. If you're a business owner, there's a bunch of stuff in there on business. And then we will be doing things throughout the year live. So right now we're focusing on money and power. And so right now in the membership, we're going through our wealth code. I'm dropping new live stuff into the wealth code. Our daily doses, which is like our space where we really anchor into what we're creating. I do those every morning with you guys. Those are all centered around money and power right now. We're going to be going through this heal stuff. We're going to be really working on clearing it out. And then after that, you guys, we're going to move into this really, really cool period in the summer called Get It Done. And it's going to be where we're going to be really focusing on those things we keep not doing, and we're going to get them freaking done. We're going to get them done together. We're going to have accountability calls. We're going to have accountability groups. We're going to have working sessions together. It's going to be super, super powerful. And then it's going to set up us up for the fall where we're gonna go into all sorts of amazing, amazing stuff to keep your evolution and growth continuing, to make it easy and to make life just getting better and better and better. Like, that's what we're here for, guys. We're not here to struggle. We're here to find our power, and then we're here to create great experiences for ourselves. I want that for you. That is possible for anyone. I get that only a few people have been able to access this for a very long time. I get that. But that's not how it's meant to be. They've rigged the system. They've rigged the system. And I'm here to freaking unrig the system by teaching all y'all the truth about how this world works, about what you get to have, about what life gets to be for you, so that you don't have to play by that system's rules anymore. You get to play by your own rules. Your own rules. Because that's how it gets to be. That's how it gets to be. All right, beautiful humans. Make sure you check your emails. That deal on our membership is coming your way. Come join us. Come join us for the retreat if you want to start there. And then ease your way into the membership, or just say, heck, come join us in the membership. We'd love to have you. I hope you guys had a lot of aha moments in this. I hope you felt inspired. I hope you walk away from here, even if you're not fully owning your power yet, realizing what is possible for you, realizing the life you get to have, realizing that, yes, there is stuff blocking you up. And maybe it's time to look at it. Maybe it's time to deal with it. Maybe it is what's actually been holding you back. And realize that you can do it with us. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be scary. We can do it together. It's always better together, friends. It's always better together. All right, beautiful people. I love you. I hope you enjoyed our 2 days together. I want you to take some time when you leave me to really sit down with yourself and look at where you're calibrating down. This is your homework. Where are you calibrating down? Where are you not saying the things you want to say? Because it's happening. Where are you worried you're going to get in trouble if you do the things you want to do? Who are you worried is going to be mad at you? Who are you worried isn't going to like you? Look at that. Go deep with yourself. And if you need help, we're here, ready and waiting for you. All right, guys, I love you. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. And I hopefully will see all of you very, very soon.